Subscribe now, if you're brave enough to keep watching. It was the kind of night that seemed to swallow sound. The fog had rolled in early, thick and heavy, clinging to the trees that lined Greenwood Cemetery. Headlights cut through it in thin white lines, but beyond that, there was nothing. No stars, no moon, just the dark stretch of road that locals said was cursed after midnight. At 11:37 p.m., Rachel Porter's silver sedan was seen driving along that very road. She'd just left her friend's house a few miles away, tired but in good spirits, texting her roommate, "On my way, be home soon." It was the kind of text people send 1,000 times simple, harmless, and final. An hour later, a patrol officer found the same car idling on the side of the road near the cemetery gates. The engine was still running. The driver's door was open. Inside, Rachel's coffee was still warm. Her phone sat on the passenger seat, music still playing softly, but there was no sign of her. When officers reviewed nearby CCTV, they found something even stranger. The footage from a gas station half a mile back showed her stopping briefly to fill up. She looked normal calm, paid in cash, smiled at the attendant. But then, as she walked back to her car, she paused. For a few seconds, she stared toward the direction of the cemetery, as if something caught her attention. Then she got in and drove off into the fog. At first, police treated it as a possible abduction, but there were no signs of a struggle, no broken glass, no footprints, no drag marks, just a running car and an open door. The next morning, when search teams combed the cemetery grounds, one of the officers noticed something odd near the gates. A set of bare footprints leading a few feet into the fog, then stopping abruptly in the dirt path between the graves, as if whoever made them simply disappeared. Meanwhile, Rachel's phone records revealed a missed call at 11:46 p.m. The number? Her own. Investigators thought it was a glitch until they traced the origin of the signal. It came from the cemetery 200 yards inside, near a section that hadn't been used for burials in decades. Locals began whispering. They'd always said that stretch of Greenwood was different colder, even in summer, a place where things were heard, not seen. One man claimed that years ago, another woman vanished there in almost the same way. The only clue left behind was her still running car and an open door facing the cemetery gate. By nightfall, the search expanded into the deeper woods behind the graveyard. They found Rachel's scarf caught on a tree branch, but no other sign of her. The dogs picked up her scent only to lose it completely at the two oldest gravestones in the lot. And when officers reviewed body cam footage later that night, one of them noticed something he hadn't seen in real time. Behind the fog, between those same gravestones, there was a faint light flickering like a phone screen, turning on for just a second before vanishing. The department ruled it unexplained. The public called it supernatural. But for Rachel's friends, it was something else entirely, a mystery that felt personal, wrong, and incomplete. And then, 3 days later, the first voicemail arrived. Rachel's roommate, Sophie, received a call at 2:17 a.m. The screen showed Rachel's name. When she answered, all she heard was breathing, not rushed or panicked, just steady, slow breathing, followed by a faint whisper that made her drop the phone. It said her name, Sophie. The call lasted exactly 47 seconds before cutting off. When police traced it, they found the source came from the same location as before, inside Greenwood Cemetery. By then, the entire town was talking. Someone started a Reddit thread claiming the place was haunted, linking it to other unexplained vanishings. Another user posted a photo supposedly showing a shadow figure near Rachel's abandoned car. But the investigation soon took a darker turn. Because when technicians retrieved the car's dashcam footage, it didn't just show Rachel driving. It showed her pulling over, then staring at something by the side of the road. The timestamp read 11:44 p.m. She opens the door, steps out. The camera shakes slightly as she walks forward. You can see the glow of the cemetery gates through the fog. Then, at the very edge of the frame, a second figure appears behind her. Someone or something standing completely still in the road. But when investigators enhanced the footage, they realized something chilling. The figure was wearing Rachel's exact clothes, and it was walking toward the car from the opposite direction. By the third day of the investigation, Greenwood Cemetery was sealed off to the public. The fog hadn't lifted since the night Rachel vanished. It hung over the gravestones like it was hiding something. Locals said it hadn't been that thick in years. Detective Evan Harlow was assigned to the case. He'd handled disappearances before, but this one felt off from the start. The scene was too clean. No tracks, no evidence, just an idling car and silence so heavy it made the air feel electric. When he first viewed the dashcam footage, he watched it 5 times in a row, hoping to find a trick of the light or a reflection, something to explain the duplicate figure in the fog. But every time, the image stayed the same. Rachel stepping out of her car, walking toward the gates, and a second Rachel emerging from the mist moments later. The timestamp flickered 11:44 p.m., then 11:45, then 11:43 again, like the recording itself didn't know what time it was. That morning, police retrieved data from Rachel's phone. It had last connected to a tower less than half a mile away, right next to the old caretaker's house on the cemetery grounds. The house had been empty for years, boarded up after a fire. But one of the officers noticed something strange on the porch. A single footprint, bare, pressed into the ash and dust like someone had stepped there recently. Inside the ruins, they found the smell of damp wood and something faintly metallic. In what used to be the living room, a table stood untouched, covered in dust, except for one clean spot in the center. Lying there was a cracked flip phone. Not Rachel's, but something older, 15 years at least. When they powered it on, the screen flickered to life, showing a single voicemail. The date stamp was October 19, 2023, the night Rachel disappeared. The message was just static at first. Then a faint whisper broke through, "Don't look for her here." By evening, Detective Harlow brought Sophie, Rachel's roommate, in for another interview. She'd been the last person Rachel texted, and the one who received the mysterious call days later. "I thought it was a prank," Sophie said, her voice trembling, "until I played it again. I swear, it didn't sound like her anymore." "What do you mean?" Harlow asked. "It sounded layered, like her voice and someone else's at the same time. One whispering, one breathing." Sophie pulled out her phone and played the voicemail. The sound filled the quiet room, a low hum, a faint exhale, and then a word that made Harlow's stomach tighten. It wasn't Sophie, it was "help me." He froze, because he'd heard that same tone before from the recording on the old flip phone found at the cemetery. Later that night, while reviewing Rachel's dashcam footage again, the detective noticed something he hadn't before. Just before Rachel steps out of the car, she glances toward her rearview mirror, her expression changing from calm to terrified in a single heartbeat. He zoomed in. In the reflection, behind her shoulder, was a faint outline of a face, not her own. And then, as she exits the vehicle, the audio picks up a distant whisper, almost buried under the hum of the engine. "Go back." But she didn't. The next morning, the team returned to Greenwood Cemetery. This time, they brought heat scanners and drones to map the area. As the sun rose, the devices began picking up temperature drops, sharp, precise, and circular, as if something cold was moving through the air. One of the drones flew too low and clipped the branch of a dead oak tree, crashing near the section of the cemetery where Rachel's footprints had been found. When the team recovered it, they discovered the onboard camera was still recording. The final 30 seconds of footage showed something they couldn't explain: 2 figures walking side by side. In the fog, both wearing the same jacket Rachel had on that night. One slightly ahead, one behind until the first faded away completely. The remaining figure turned toward the camera just enough to show a pale, motionless face before the feed cut to black. That evening, Detective Harlow stayed late in his office, rewatching the footage again and again. At exactly 11 p.m., his desk phone rang. He froze. The line buzzed faintly. Static, breathing, then silence. Finally, a soft voice spoke. "You're watching the wrong one." He slammed the receiver down. his pulse racing. The number didn't show up in the call log, and when he checked the caller ID, it displayed something impossible. Porter. Rachel's name. Harlow returned to the cemetery after midnight. The fog was even thicker now, swallowing the path as he walked toward the old caretaker's house. The ground felt softer, like something shifting beneath the soil. Near the gates, he saw the outline of Rachel's car, still impounded but left where it was found. The door hung open slightly, creaking as the wind moved through. That's when he saw it. On the inside of the driver's door, barely visible under the frost, was a message traced in fingertip smudges. "I didn't leave." He stood there, heart pounding, the fog curling around his legs like it was alive. Somewhere deep in the cemetery, a phone began to ring, its tone muffled, distant, but unmistakable. He followed the sound until it led him between the same two gravestones where Rachel's trail had ended. The ringing stopped, and then, slowly, another phone began to ring from his own pocket. When he looked at the screen, the caller ID said what he already feared. Porter. The phone rang only once before Detective Harlow answered. "Rachel," he whispered, his breath fogging in the cold air. For a moment, there was only static. Then, beneath it, came the faint sound of wind, not like the breeze moving through the cemetery around him, but heavier, distant. Inside something, a soft voice broke through. Evan. He froze. No one called him that, not since his wife died years ago. And this voice, it was hers. Or maybe it wasn't. There was something off about the tone, a slight delay, like an echo repeating from somewhere deep underground. "Where are you?" he asked, trying to sound calm. "I told you. I didn't leave." The line went dead. Harlow's flashlight flickered once, twice, then cut out completely. The fog thickened until even his own hands disappeared from sight. He pulled out his backup light and swung it around, revealing the two gravestones where Rachel's footprints had ended. Only now there was something new between them. A narrow slit in the ground, not a grave, not even an opening, just a thin, perfect line, like the earth itself had been folded. From it came a faint vibration, a hum that seemed to pulse in rhythm with his heartbeat. He crouched down, holding the phone to his ear again. The call was still active, the timer on the screen still climbing. But there was no sound except a low, rhythmic tapping. Tap, tap, tap. He realized it wasn't random. It was Morse code. He didn't know much, but he caught one word. Below. The next morning, the department found Harlow's patrol car still parked at the cemetery gates. The driver's seat was empty, the radio on, and his badge resting on the dashboard. The first officer on scene, Sergeant Lively, said he heard a faint ringing from somewhere in the distance, the same tone Harlow described days earlier. It seemed to come from underground. They began searching the cemetery again, this time bringing ground-penetrating equipment. Near the two oldest headstones, they detected an air pocket several feet below the surface, too deep for an old burial, too perfectly shaped for natural erosion. When they dug, they uncovered something impossible. A hollow concrete chamber, no larger than a closet, sealed on all sides. Inside, there was no body, only a rusted phone resting on a small shelf. It was still powered on. The display showed an active call, connected, 01 44 32. They traced the number. It belonged to Detective Evan Harlow's department-issued cell phone, the one still in his car above ground. And then the call timer began to climb again right there in front of them. 01 44 33, 01 44 34, 01 444 35. The tech who'd discovered it dropped the phone and stumbled backward, because a faint voice had just come through the speaker. Don't look for us. That night, a local news station broke the story detective missing during cemetery search. Viewers flooded social media with theories: a cover-up, a haunting, a staged disappearance. But what none of them knew was that 2 days later, Rachel's phone pinged again briefly, for just 10 seconds. The location? Greenwood Cemetery. When officers checked, the gate's motion sensor had triggered at 11:44 p.m. The footage showed something moving through the fog. 2 figures, walking slowly side by side toward the same headstones where it all began. The second figure was holding a flashlight. Months passed, but the fog over Greenwood never really went away. Locals said it still glows faintly blue some nights, like headlights cutting through it even when no cars pass. Every few weeks, someone reports a strange call, always around 11:44 p.m., always from the same number. Sometimes the caller whispers a name. Sometimes it's just breathing. And sometimes it's 2 voices overlapping, one male, one female, speaking in perfect unison. They both say the same thing: we didn't leave. If this story haunted you, the next one will keep you awake. Subscribe if you dare.